friends, welcome back to Mimi's Mixed Bag. Today I am creating a couple seasonal gnomes using the Dollar Tree door hangers. I've had one in my stash for a number of months, and every time I would walk by it in the store, I would see this little hook that hangs on your doorknob and just thought it reminded me of a gnome hat or Santa hat or something like that. So I went and picked up a second one, and I'm going to do the Halloween with you today and then show you a Christmas one at the end. I just thought it'd be fun that you could see two different variations of the same thing. The good thing about this project is you're basically just using scraps because it doesn't take a lot of anything. You need two different colors of fabric, one for the body and one for the hat. And then I just grabbed up a few odds and ends, some trim, some felt, some Halloween ribbon I had. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to finish it out yet, but I just grabbed up some things. And I'm going to have some little arms on my gnome. So I'm using a tongue depressor. A popsicle stick would work fine. I'm also going to have him holding a little embellishment. Now I've got a little Dollar Tree wooden pumpkin that I'm going to make into a jack-o'-lantern face. You could just cut out a little sign that says boo out of cardstock. You could take a sticker and put it on some cardstock, or even just a little plastic spider him holding. It's just endless what you could come up with. Now another characteristic of the gnome is their nose. So any kind of wooden ball or any kind of little round something you can come up with to create his nose. Now for the beard, you could use raffia, you could use yarn, you could use some kind of fuzzy fabric, whatever you can come up with to make his beard. Anything goes. If you don't have any fabric, you could certainly use scrapbook paper or decoupage napkins or something like that. I'm actually going to be decoupaging fabric. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and start on my body. I'm going to sand some of that glitter off, and I'm going to glue my body fabric down. And I've got my two fabrics cut. They're just rough cut to size, and I'm going to do Mod Podge under and over the fabric. And I'm going to let that dry. All right, you just want to make sure that your fabric is saturated under and over. Now before my hat fabric dries, I'm actually going to lift it up a little bit because I really want my nose to be about halfway under the bridge of the hat and hot glue it in place before the hat fabric dries. So his hat brim is going to be puckered up just a little bit, but I want it to dry like that. All right, it's only been about 15 minutes and I just put a thin coat under and over, and it's really dry enough for me to go ahead and trim off the excess. I'm just going along the edge, trimming off the excess fabric, just staying on top. I'm just taking little snips all around the circle. And when we get done, you may find that you have some fabric wanting to come up a little bit. That's when you'll go back and just touch it up with the Mod Podge. You can see that it just is a nice clean cut, and I didn't even use fussy cut scissors. I use these big crafting scissors, so super easy. And you may also want to put a little touch of hot glue where your nose is, just to keep that secure so that you don't see your door hanger underneath. All right, now we're ready to make his whiskers. So I'm going to make his little mustache first, and I've done many gnomes, and this is what I have found to be the easiest way. I'm going to wrap some yarn around my finger about 4 times. So I'm actually going to have about 7 or 8 little pieces of string. So cut the loops apart. So just a few little strands of whatever you got, and I'm going to tie them together with another little piece of string. This is actually going to be his mustache. All right, and then kind of find the center of it, of where you tied it, and then I'm going to take that and hot glue it right up under his nose. By doing that, it kind of puffs out a little bit and will disguise that little hole that each side of the nose creates. So then I'm going to take some more string and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers about 10 times. It can be more or less, but at least 10 times. Then I'm going to take another little piece of string and secure my loops together. This makes the easiest little gnome beard. So now I'm going to have a tied ring of loops. So just try to keep your little loops kind of straight. I'm going to take the beard and hot glue it right up under the mustache. So I'm going to have these little short pieces and then the long loopy beard, keeping your mustache kind of split in the middle. I think that makes the cutest little whiskers and beard. Now I'm ready to work on his arms. And after some trial and error, here's what I've come up with. Take your tongue depressor, and you're not going to just break it in half. You're going to cut it at an angle. And it will make sense of why we do that in just a minute. So usually if you have some pretty strong scissors, it will usually cut right through. So it will be flush with the sides. It just will look better. Hot glue, a little strip on there, and a little tip will be showing, and that will serve as his little hands. I cut off the extra fabric, and I'm just going to fold it down to make a nice neat point. So that's what the top of your arm will look like, and then I'm going to hot glue it on the body. So I'm going to put the finishing touches on the Halloween one, finish out the Christmas one, and show you both of them. All right, friends, here are my Halloween and Christmas door hanger gnomes. Super cute and whimsical. Just a couple notes for you. I changed up the little pom-poms on their hat. I decided to just make some pom-pom balls out of this tulle fabric and just wound it around my fingers and made one just like you do a yarn pom-pom ball. And I think my fabric was thick enough that I didn't have to paint or anything, so just be mindful of that depending on your fabric, whether or not you need to cover up the words or whatever on your door hanger. But I really like the look of the angled stick for the arms. It really gives a nice, neat, clean look to the side where you attach the arms. These would be so cute for any season, just depending on the fabric and the ribbons and embellishments you choose. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did making them. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back in a few days. Bye-bye.